Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh to all those who are with us, all those who have joined us again on our continuing journey of self-development, our continue journey as everything around us begins to change, begins to shift. As we said to you in March, there is a paradigm shift upon us. And this paradigm shift that is upon us is a shift of such magnitude that it is transforming society, it's going to transform governments, it's going to transform economies as it already is, and it demands a position. We can either make this easy for ourselves or we can make it hard. So you will recall over the last 3 weeks, we've been focusing on how fear manifests into anger. And we are seeing what's happening at the police brutality in the USA, which represents authority brutality around the world, particularly the indigenous people of this world, who are completely forgotten and persecuted at rates that we would not even begin to imagine. And this death of Floyd, George Floyd in the USA represents a struggle that has been going on for a long time. And it's a struggle between what is just, what is truth, and the struggle between what is power and what is control. And this week that we are moving into, June, the first week of June, is a very day from the tradition that I come from. And the tradition that I come from is a tradition of the Sikhs. And the tradition of the Sikhs, please do your research, have always stood up for human rights and human sovereignty. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the fifth Sikh Guru, was tortured alive for 5 days simply because he refused to accept authority of a particular kind, a religious authority. And the spirit of standing up, the spirit of being able to speak your truth, to act your truth out, in order to own your sovereignty, comes from roots that have shown again and again the same space and the same spirit. So we have all been subject to this shift, but we are all now in a place where we can look at first how fear has transformed into anger and how this anger is now erupting into violence. Anger is never the solution. Anger blinds you. Anger is a energy that is needed to express outwards. So you will find now as the anger because of these human right abuses and the anger of people being locked down, people being put into really house quarantine, house arrest of some sort, where people are now like animals being asked to say, okay, go and taste some freedom. But when you see around you, the figures don't match up. What the authorities are doing and what they're telling you to do doesn't match up. The statistics that are coming out regarding the people who have supposedly died from this virus don't match up. The whole scam, and if you follow the money and you follow, seems to be tied with pharmaceutical companies, seems to be tied with vaccination, and seems to be tied with control. So this agenda imposed upon the whole population. And yes, the virus is a threat. However, it has been taken out of all proportion to the point that many people today don't know if they'll have work in a month's time or 2 months' time. So the implications on our economy are very significant. The implications on our way of life are very significant. However, we can, even amongst and amidst this chaos that is you are seeing around you or you are being witnessed around you, we can still maintain our own sense of self. We can still maintain a space in which we are not pulled in through emotion. See, this is how it works. Emotion. That's the giveaway. It's energy in motion. So fear transforms into anger. Anger over time will transform into compassion. That's just the nature of things. Anger normally, sooner or later, becomes compassion. And then from compassion, obviously it's a transformational process. But it began with fear, and we are now, as we saw the energy evolving in March, that by June we will be in a position where a lot of protest, anger, riots, all of that stuff will be prominent, and we can see it. So emotions are used in order to motivate you. No one got up and protested that, yes, lives matter, Black Lives Matter, police brutality is unacceptable, until they saw the images of a man being murdered before your very eyes. Yeah, so really, it was in some ways, in a macabre way, we were watching someone being murdered in front of us, and as a result, that impacted us. And that impact came about such that in the USA, majority of the USA, the major cities and states that have African American, Hispanic, and other migrant communities are taking the initiative to stand up and to say enough is enough. And many other indigenous people are joining them. Many, so there is no color in this. There is nothing. It's simply about brutality. Brutality, the enforcement of power. This is what control does. This is what the ego is. The ego is do as I tell you to do. And sovereignty is I can think for myself. That's really the difference. Now, as we go into this space of change, this paradigm shift that we are all moving into, there are certain other factors that might be worth considering. Other factors are that at the moment, I mean, think about it. The whole virus thing has been kicked off the front page. Now the front page is all about anger. First, it was all about fear. Now all the images are about anger, about protest. Again, manipulation of emotion. And once you are caught in that, if we I am not saying that emotion is a bad thing. I am simply saying that when we simply act out of that emotion, we can quite easily be distracted and taken down particular routes which may not be healthy for ourselves or for other people, right? So important to, again, meditation is our critical space, but more importantly now, it is actually creating a space within ourselves, because remember, we were talking about frequencies and vibrations, that the human body is just a set of frequencies. All of these frequencies, your eyeball is a frequency, your tooth is a frequency, your bones are frequency. These frequencies, if you can manipulate them, you can repair yourself. And this is the future of the medicine. Hence, mantra frequency medicine. How we use sound to begin to harmonize ourselves, how we use sound in order to heal ourselves. So, going through this process of restoring our health, holding on to our health, we are now witnessing a new emotion arising. And this new emotion arising around us, and I'm not saying that we don't feel the emotion ourselves, but this new emotion around us, a lot of actions are just taken blindly, and it can be used against the very cause that brought it about. It can be used against it. So it's important not to get caught up in that, but it is very important to stand up for what you know to be the truth, what you know to be wrong, because now is the time for freedom, justice, and truth. Either you stand with it or you don't, and you will be judged by yourself. So when the shit hit the fan, where were you? What did you do? Were we just keyboard warriors? Were we just when we saw the absurdity of our politicians, did we stand up and hold our politicians to account? Or did we just grumble? Did we just moan? So now the time has come for us to all see actually, things that are not acceptable are not acceptable. That's all there is to it. Yeah. And what is not acceptable is brutality. Brutality against children. You know, just allow this to sink in now that you've had 9 weeks of house arrest, that the weapons are made in developed countries that demonstrate how quickly you can burn someone. So, children in Iraq, in Yemen, in Syria, people have been burned simply the effectiveness of the weapon. How quickly you can destroy the human but leave the infrastructure. This is civilization. We have a profound opportunity, profound opportunity to experience injustice so we can take the just step. This is how duality works. We are, look, the earth, this life is nothing more than just lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. If you don't learn your lesson, it will be repeated many times until you get it. So, this is a lesson. Injustice in front of you. Injustice in front of you. So, what lesson do you draw from that? What is your lesson? Do you just sit back and say, well, nice show? This is something fundamental to do with existence, to do with what you know, your heart, not what you think, what your heart tells you. And what your heart tells you is out of compassion, not out of anger, out of compassion. You are compelled to act. And if your intention and if your motivation is motivated through the energy of compassion, it can only heal. If it is motivated through anger, it can only destroy. So when Guru Arjan Dev Ji was burnt alive for 5 days on a hot stove with sand poured over him, he left a mark. He left a mark. It is possible to stand. It is possible to stand. It is possible to take that act of saying, do that act which you know you will be proud of. You know that you can look at yourself and say, you know what? When push came to shove, I did what I felt was the right thing, what I felt. So when we see these acts of brutality, it will bring anger in us. But we can also see the same through the eyes of compassion, through the eyes of the victim, through the eyes of the victim to say, this is not right. Something needs to be done. We need to restore some balance. And this is exactly where we're going. The world is in a process of balance. Society is in a process of balance. And this is a hard lesson that we are starting to learn. As you know, if you've had no respite, as soon as lockdown's over, the new emotions begin. There is a new paradigm. And as soon as this kind of fades away, there will be another one. This may be to do with the second wave, the second lockdown, or it may be the desperation for vaccination. Who knows? But the point I'm trying to make is that this is now a cycle of significant emotions that are allowing us to express. We can either express our truth in anger or we can express our truth with a level of integrity and compassion. And by taking that stand, we not just restore our own integrity and dignity of what it means to be human, but we also exercise our sovereignty. We are not sheep. Yeah, well, maybe some people want to be led by a shepherd, but I do not want to be led by anyone. My experience is my experience, like your experience is your experience. That's the only truth we can rely on. Everything else is someone else's version, and that doesn't mean it's the truth. So, in this process, in this exercise, in this expression of our truth, not are we just looking at how this energy of anger, which is an energy of destruction, can be transformed towards compassion, an energy of construction. And it may not be that we're constructing the same thing, because as we keep telling them, things are not going to be the same, and they're not. 8, 9 weeks later, things are not the same. And we will find that as this energy manifests and becomes more significant, and there is obviously repression against that, that becomes even more violent. As we see this affects all of us. So it is important that we do not add fuel to the fire, but we work in a way where we can maintain our integrity, maintain our dignity, maintain an expression of compassion, but ensure that you take the step, that you actually do something. And even if it may be just writing to your MP, but make them known. Things are wrong. They need to change. Be part of that change. Either we are with humanity or we're not. That's all there is to it. And at the moment, it's a 50-50. It really depends how we tilt the balance. And when good people do good things, the balance changes. When good people don't do good things, the balance changes. But ultimately, we need to know that consciousness doesn't leave us. Consciousness does not leave us. And our life is simply in this arena of consciousness, alive or dead, arena of consciousness, in which we are on this earth simply to learn our lessons. And this is a fantastic opportunity to learn the lesson of standing up to injustice. And that lesson is a lesson that you and all that are after you will be very proud of. That when the time took, it came, yes, not did you just benefit yourself, but you benefited the whole. Because ultimately, we are all just the same thing, expressing ourselves in different ways. But we are really the same ocean with just lots of different ripples. You're a ripple, I'm a ripple. That's just the way it goes. So we are in our expression. What a fantastic opportunity to look at life and say, yeah, this is a good time to learn something that adds strength to my character, that adds integrity to me. And you know what? It heightens and develops my um, sovereignty, my sovereignty. So sovereignty doesn't mean we control the world. Who wants to control the world? Look at the state of them. Sovereignty means we take control of ourselves. We make sure that our thoughts are what they are. We don't need to get too hung up about them. We work from our feeling. Yeah, feeling is the truth. Thinking is duality. So as we have continued our series of mantras, so frequency mantras. So again, if I just explain that, we're simply using a mantra in order to generate a harmony, a vibration within us, a frequency within us. And this mantra is the mantra Soham, Soham. And why this mantra is particularly effective and why this mantra is universal is because it's connected to your breath. It's the same sound your breath makes. So as you breathe in, you will notice that the sound is similar to sa, yeah, or so as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, you'll notice the sound is like ha. So soham or hamsa, either way. But we are working with soham. So we can either hear with our ears. Actually, we never hear with our ears. We hear with our awareness. Yes. So even when you are having a thought that is silent, you can still hear it. So here, to hear is a state of your awareness. It's not to do with your ears per se. But obviously, to hear something that's outside, we need ears. So sound, according to the understanding of sound within uh, Gurmat or Sikh thought or Indic thought, is that sound has four parts to it. So there is sound that comes out of your mouth and you can hear it. And so this is one kind of sound. It's called Vyakri. Then there is another sound which is more to do with your throat and your tongue. So it's like muttering. And this is the second, so it's percent. And the third sound is that before it comes to your tongue, it's in your heart. It's in your heart. That's what it's considered to be. But what that means is that it's mental. Yeah. Meaning that you can, it's something that you can hear within you. You can hear. So you don't need to mutter it, but you can mentally say it. But the sound emanates from here. This is what the understanding is. And then as you follow the sound, so hum, so hum, so hum, so, and we get into the mental space and we start reducing the volume, lower, 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 and you keep following it. You may come to a moment where it's nothing more than a pulse, nothing more than a pulse. And it's at that moment we take our awareness into silence, and we exercise listening to that pulse. And you might find that it kind of emanates near your belly button, or maybe just a little bit lower. But it's around there that you can feel the sound. Now, this is part of, in this process of healing, a really important element, because it is from here that it is, let's say, a ground zero, right? So it's from there when the vibration emanates, it slowly and gradually begins to have an effect within your body from the inside out, right? So that's how the kind of science of it works, or the theory of it. So the sound is soham. So before we go there, so just shake your shoulders, and if you close your eyes and you close your mouth, and take a few moments to bring yourself to yourself. And one easy way of doing that is that if you follow your breath inwards, you become aware of your body quite quickly. Okay. So first, just notice your posture. Notice anything dominant in your body, like a ache, a pain, a tightness, anything like that. Notice that your back is straight. And if it's not, just bring it straight, upright, pull your shoulders back. Now take your focus first as you breathe in to the seat that you're on. And then notice that there are sensations which are quite dominant where your body makes contact with whatever you're sitting on. And as you breathe in, you can gradually bring this awareness from those sensations upwards, so you become aware of your hips. And as you breathe out, take this focus down your thighs towards your knees. From your knees, move your focus down towards your ankles, your feet, the soles of your feet. Come back to the chair you're sitting on, or the floor, and we're going to scan the back. So you just move your focus, lower back. Notice any sensations, middle back, shoulder blades, From your shoulders, move your focus down to your elbows. From your elbows, move your focus to your wrists. From your wrists, move your focus to your hands. Take it to your fingers. See if you can notice the nails. Now bring your focus to the back of your neck. As you pull your chin in, notice the back of the neck stretching. Take your focus to your eyes. Allow this part of the body to soften. Notice that you can see darkness. Or whatever's in front of you. Even though your eyes are closed, you have awareness. So I want you to bring your awareness to that awareness, so to speak. That you have awareness of darkness. And you can take this awareness to the back of your head. Try that. Now move this focus to your mouth. Notice your tongue. Allow it to soften. Notice the sensations on the roof of your mouth. On the inside cheeks. Allow your jaw to drop. Relax your face. And bring your focus just beneath your nose. And as the breath comes in, once again, notice your body, notice your posture. Notice how grounded you feel. Embodied. Now bring your focus to your chest. Again, notice how you feel. Settled, unsettled, pleasant, unpleasant, comfortable, uncomfortable. Dukh, sukh. Notice how this body is embedded in this moment. Can't go anywhere. If existence moves forward a second, your body moves forward a second. Your body, like my body, is fixed. Fixed in this moment, in this here, and in this now. And your body connects you with all that ever was, with all that exists right now in the physical universe. This body connects you to this moment, to where you're sitting, to your local environment, to the protests, to the world, to the virus, and beyond that, space, solar system, galaxy, universe. You're part of the whole. Now bring your focus slowly and just notice the sounds around you. Allow these sounds to come towards you. And just follow this sound and notice how far your awareness can stretch. Notice the silence. This silence that we are going to work with the mantra. Gently bring your nose. Begin to notice your breath. Notice how it when you're ready, draw a slow, deep breath in. And as the breath comes out, I want you to say the sound so hum. So off you go. So and again. So once again. Now, if you bring your focus back to your body, notice what's going on. Notice if there's anything that's dominant, anything that may have changed. And now we're going to do the same, but this time we're going to whisper the word Soham to ourselves, making sure that our tongue moves and we are listening to what we are saying. Okay? So again, 3 times. Deep breath in. And again. And once again. Bringing your focus just beneath your nose. Notice what's going on in your body. Now, if you bring your focus to your breath and you begin to listen to it, notice as the breath comes in, the sound is sa. As the breath goes out, the sound is ha. Make sure you just keep your focus on the breath, listening to the breath as it comes in, listening to the breath as it goes out, recognizing those two sounds. And now, as the breath comes in, mentally say the word so and listen to it. And as the breath goes out, say ha and listen to it. Keep listening. Notice how loud, in inverted commas, you can hear yourself saying this. And now, from your next breath onwards, out, begin to lower the volume within yourself. So as you're saying so to yourself, just allow that volume to slightly drop with every breath. Keep listening. Keep listening. Moving deeper and deeper. Stay there. Notice the stillness in that moment. Still listening. Follow this sound as best as you can. Allow the next bell to take you much further. And one more time. This is the closest we ever come to our essential nature, that which is fearless, that which has no anger, no hate, that which is timeless, that which is awake and aware, that which is self-existing, yet it never takes birth. And it's a gift that we all share. Gently bring your focus to your experience. Acknowledge your experience. Acknowledge this sacred space, this place that is free of everything, the place of sovereignty, that runs on the energy of compassion. Notice how your body feels. Notice you're sitting on the same space. The ground, the place holds you. You can sense your legs all the way down to your feet. Your back is straight and upright. Your shoulders, arms, and hands are comfortable. Your eyes are still closed. Your mouth is still closed. Your face is relaxed. Bring your focus beneath your nose. And as the breath comes in, notice you can sense your body. And as the breath goes out, you can sense your body. And gradually begin to take deeper breaths. And as you hear the sound, take some deep breaths. And in your own good time, opening your eyes. Take your time. Thank you very much for joining us. May you all be safe. May you all be happy, healthy, safe, and peaceful. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ